Hello everybody, welcome on in. If you are new around here, I'm Astrologer Victoria from Your Wings of Ascension, and this is your weekend horoscope for the weekend of Saturday, Sunday, July 29th and 30th of 2023. Alright, so we know that Mercury has moved into Virgo from Leo, so we are going from a passionate mind to a logical mind, but Venus and Mercury are still right next to each other. So yes, they're still technically in a conjunction and they're able to talk to each other, but it's not as smoothly as when they're both in the same sign. So think of it this way. So think of the chart as a family reunion. All of the different planets over here are all of the different relatives. There's a whole bunch of noise because everybody's together. They're talking, they're laughing, they're yelling, they're doing whatever. But you have your young, flirtatious, vivacious vixen sitting next to the more mature, analytical, reserved member of the family. They're sitting right next to each other. They're both just sitting there. So while everything is happening over here, they can, even though they're very different, talk to each other very easily. It's just a matter of choosing to use that energy. So in terms of you using the energy, you can see what your Venus is coming up and saying to you. We know what is it that's true to you, what are your desires, what is changing in your relationships, all relationships, romantically, friends, family, with money, what your gifts are, your artistry. You can tap into that from the analytical Virgo Mercury if you choose to. It's completely your choice, but it's not going to be as easy as if they're in the same sign, but it is there. And then today, this moon finishing up in Sagittarius is just looking to have a good time. And we are going to see early, probably before many of us are actually doing too much. But then again, I don't know, if you're an early riser Saturday, you could feel this hitting. There's a trine up to Chiron. So Chiron being our biggest wound, our insecurities, all of these things. We have the moon trining up there, so we have an ease of our insecurities, our doubts, our fears, all of that, which is helpful. There's also going to be a trine from the moon up to this Venus. And yes, technically the Mercury, but they're out of sign. So again, it's a connection, but you have to work a little bit harder. But with Venus, it is very much, an easy conversation back and forth. So you're feeling emotionally comfortable. You're feeling a true inner sense of understanding with your Venus retrograde feels on Saturday. However, there is going to be a square up to Neptune from this moon. So this is not an easy conversation. We know squares are not easy. And we can feel into the Neptunian fogginess real heavy with this one. This is massive delusions and being lost, not being sure, getting stuck in a fantasy world. So especially since this moon is connected to both Neptune in a square and then up to Venus retrograde in a positive, we can put things on pedestals that don't belong there. We can feel that things are better than they are, or feel that they're way worse than they are, especially with Leo. Leo doesn't do subtle well, right? To a Leo, things that they consider subtle, for the rest of us, it's like, what? Really? That's huge. So there's a little bit of illusionary energy throughout this day. My advice is don't run from it, feel into it. By that I mean, it is a good day to get lost in healthy fantasy, healthy, otherworldliness. So if it happens to be a rainy day and you're stuck inside, this is a perfect day to binge watch like Lord of the Rings. If you have nice weather and you just want to have a chill Saturday, go binge read Harry Potter. Something that I think would be even more beneficial is tapping into the artistry side of this and going and creating art that just happens to flow. It is a weekend, so if you have the day off, go take a painting class, go do a sculpting class. Even if you just have a group of friends that get together, go on to YouTube and look for tutorials on how to paint a picture of a mountain and everybody paints together, tapping into it in a way that is healthy, not getting lost into the scary illusional side, but tapping into the, mythical time side where you can learn lessons and you can let your emotions come through that way. So it's learning through the world that is not our world here. Let's look at Sunday. On Sunday, these guys have separated even further, but yes, you can still feel it. But, and I wrote over Mars, which is who I wanted to talk about really, Mars is very close to its trine with Jupiter. So this is our planet of action meeting in a positive way with our planet of abundance. So exactly what you think. You're going to have a lot of positive energy. This can be channeled healthily through doing things, being active, not sitting on your butt doing nothing, because that's not going to work, but channeling into the idea of active energy. And this can bring us into a world of competitiveness, which we can use for healthy, going out and playing tennis with your friend, getting into it, not going too far, but just enjoying the back and forth. This can also be a very sexually active time, so do with that as you will, just be smart. But we get a lot of support from this because the moon is in, one of these days I'll learn how to draw circles. But the moon is in Capricorn, so we get support from this because Capricorn likes to get things done. And this Capricorn moon is going to sextile over to Saturn. I have to look through the camera to do it. So we get a comfortable feeling when we're doing what we need to do. And the moon will trine up to Mars as well. So using this Sunday as a day to get things done, because both Mars and Jupiter in Earth signs, this could be a good day to get yard work done. You're going to feel good. You're doing things that you need to do. You have your responsibility with Saturn. You have the emotional stability, comfort of the moon here. So you feel good when you get the work done. It doesn't necessarily sound like the most fun thing, but you know what I mean. When you go and you finally clear out the closet, you're like, oh, I feel so much better and it's done. Might not be the most fun while you're doing it, but hey, make the fun because you have that connection to Jupiter. So do the yard work with your friend, with your sibling, with your neighbor. Maybe go and collectively call up your neighbors and go clean out the school tennis courts. I don't know, something. Make it fun and enjoyable, but do things. If you sit on your butt, you're going to be miserable. Overall, not a terrible weekend. I like it. I don't hate it. So, as I tell you every time, oh, I don't tell you this every time, but have a good weekend. Be safe. Be smart. As I tell you every time, you've got this. We've got this. I love you all very much. Thank you so much for joining me here, and I will see you again on Monday.